Facebook and YouTube.
The Pirate Kim Kitchens failed on YouTube. They're live on Facebook. Live on YouTube.
Good afternoon. We were cut short there on the credits. Play the credits again because they're new and sexy credits. There we go. Credits off. Just got the main credit. Good afternoon, how are we all doing? A lot of technical setup, a little bit different to normal, so if you're watching and you can hear us and you can see us, give us a quick shout in the comments so that we know that everything's working okay. I'll just pause for time while this is happening. So here we got everybody saying hi.
No comments just yet.
Nothing as yet. Okay, well we'll get on. So today we're going to do a couple of dishes and we're going to focus on a fancier style. We're going fancy. So all the ingredients today, I'm just going to do one portion, but the packs and the volume of ingredients I bought, you pretty much do fancy for a £5, £5 or £6. You can do both these dishes for 4 people. So I hope you enjoy it. We have some new stuff. We have the Babish Cam. We cut to the Babish Cam. So this should give you a bit more. Nope, that's not the Babish Cam. That's the overhead.
Sorry.
So that's the Babish Cam. So that'll give you a bit more of a view of what I'm actually doing. We've got the overhead, which will let you see from above what I'm doing. You'll see a seam emerging here, and then we've got the big sexy shot giggly right here. So any comments yet? Are we getting any acknowledgement that we are actually online? Cool.
So Carl Williams said this is the way.
Fantastic. Yes, pimping the Pandalorian hoodies today. This is the way.
Dave Webb said, yeah man, and Tommy said, good day Pando, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, okay.
And Louise said, I won that hoodie, Peter Murphy, how do I get one?
Well, purchase options will be made available later in the stream. You can't kind of give everything up front, as you well know, Louise. You need to pace it out through the whole duration of the thing so that people will keep tuned. What I have forgot in the kitchen is a small piece of paper which is telling me what I need to do. That is really important, or this is going to be an absolute shit show.
Fiona just said this afternoon.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to take some pork. I'm going going to pop that in our big pan. We're going to do a port and orange. This is going to be our sauce for our main dish, our duck dish. So we've got half a bottle of port in there. We're going to reduce that down. I'm going to take my little cheat sheet, which should keep me right. To that port reduction, or to that port, sorry I should say, I'm going to take half of an unprepared cinnamon stick. You want to go picture in picture. So that'll give you a little look at what we're doing from above, and obviously this face. You can't see this pan, it's the secret pan. But that's all good. And into our port reduction we will be adding later some dried apricots, some fresh raspberries, and what I'm going to do at the moment is just take our big, you don't like to call things fat anymore, our gravitationally challenged piece of garlic, give it a bit of a squish, pop that in as well, and we're just going to get that reducing away. So again, as much as today's about presentation, it's also about timing and doing things in order, so that if you're having a dinner party or you're doing something at home, the whole point of this is today, we can't go to restaurants, we can't get out, anniversaries, birthdays, sexy times, and all that. You want to have something a bit more special than pie, beans and chips. So hopefully today, show you some processes, we'll show you some shortcuts as well, and then we're going to plate the dishes up, and hopefully we'll get to where we need to be. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a sea bass dish as our starter. So we're going to do a timbalad. A timbalad is just like a, if you've seen Ratatouille, the film, movie rat, no rat in here. What? Sawdust, no rat. He makes a timbalad, so it's thinly sliced vegetables. So we are going to go to our timbalad ingredients. And a tray. I've got a tray now. So what we want on here is a nice fine slice. Now you guys have seen me use this device before. It's a mandolin. There are other models out there which come with finger guard, but giggity. What we're going to do is just take some nice thin slices of our courgette. See how thin those are? And we've got two tomatoes here. We've got one which is quite red and ripe, and again just some nice wafer thin slices of that. And again, the whole thing about doing Michelin star or fancy food, it's all about being delicate and precise. Not things we're known for on Pirate King television, but sorry, rebranded Pirate King Kitchen. We will give it a shot today. So we don't want this being overly don't want this being too big, it's not too chunky. What we are going to do is we're going to put it in a little mould. We're going to get a tray. This last word. My trays. Can I get a oven tray, please? Sorry. Error on my part, that trays were there. And what we're essentially going to do is, while this stuff's here, just a little season, and we'll use some of our olive oil, which I'm just going to steal in a minute. So while I'm waiting on that tray coming back, I'll tell you about the dishes. So we're going to do a sea bass with textures of tomato, very posh. We are also going to do a duck breast, a glazed duck breast with raspberries, and a port wine jus. So I'm going to take a Timberland ring. Just going to put our little bits of courgette in at the bottom. And maybe move this the way you can see it.
I can't see it there.
So a little bit of courgette. A little bit of our lighter tomato. A little bit more courgette. Or deeper tomato, or riper tomato, should I say. And then the last of our courgette. And again, if you haven't sliced any more, just rattle off another few slices, you'll be absolutely fine. And to that, I am going to steal some oil from another dish. Just a little bit of olive oil on the top. And a little bit of oil on the bottom. So ideally, we don't want this sticky.
So Nicola Gibbs said, what's in the pan? Someone was on the phone, I missed it.
So what we have in there is pork, garlic and half a cinnamon stick, Nicola. Another fantastic demonstration of preheating the oven. I think this is the day that my oven has finally run out of gas. So, what we're going to do is we're going to use the indoor oven. And we'll get some gas for next week. You stick that in at about 200, please. This is going to be exciting. So our port's reducing down. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so our port's reducing down. I say we put in about a quarter bottle. I want to take that down to probably 4 or 5 teaspoons. Okay, 4 or 5 tablespoons. We'll keep our tomatoes because we're going to use them for something else. Our uncut pork, we're going to take some tomato passat. Tomato passat is just puree tomatoes. You can use chopped tomatoes for this, you just need to strain your sauce afterwards. So, we've probably got about half of a reduction. Just going to put exactly the same amount of tomato passat in there. Where's my cloth? Oh, no. So how's everybody enjoying the new setup? Does it feel good? Are you liking it? Are you not liking it?
So Karen Cleland said, loving the new camera tech, guys. Shan said, hi Murphy, why is YouTube not working, but seems to be live. Fiona said, morning up there, could do with that slicer down here.
What? Oh, Fiona done that. Oh, Fiona. Right, so we've done that. So, next thing we want to get on is some turnip. So, turnip, lovely root vegetable, often ignored for its sexier cousins and counterparts. Lots of people doing things with heritage carrots and all that good stuff and celeriac, but you know, now that we're in the middle of the apocalypse, we grow turnip in Scotland, so if you want to do fancy in the apocalypse, this is it. You could swap this out for butternut squash or celeriac, but I just think the contrasting is quite nice. So we're basically just going to want this to cook fairly quickly. So I'm just going to take this into 10cm by 10cm. Quite happy where our sauce is going. Can I get the block of butter out the fridge, please? Yeah, spent a lot of time setting up the camera this morning. So
Tommy Cleland said, loving the new camera transitions, the subtitles clearly don't get the Scottish accent. Tyler says hi and loves the hoodie.
So the hoodies. We thought because we were launching the new cameras and because we kind of been, doing the odd bit and bob because we were coming out of lockdown, we thought, well, we'll go back into the groove and we'll start doing it pretty much every week. So our relaunch with the new cameras and everything was to call it this season as the Pandalorian. So hoodies and t-shirts will be available for those of you who like to support the show. I'll get on to the purchase details of those later. So I'm quite happy with where that sauce is now. So into that sauce, I'm going to take 3 apricots, dried apricots, pop them in there. And some fresh raspberries. So that's where our sauce for our main dish is right now. Nice and silky and beautiful, but a little bit of butter in that right at the end. It's not fancy food unless you put a shitload of butter in it. Oh, I'm running out of space. That's okay. So the next thing we want to do is get our turnip on the go. So I know you're bleeping because you don't have a pan, you do now, don't get excited. So into our pan we are going to drop a little bit of oil. So a little bit of oil just stops the butter burning too much. So we're just going to put our turnip straight in there. And we're going to use a Scottish word, which is sugar. A bit of sugar, a little bit of black pepper. I'm just going to let that cook away. So we're kind of bouncing between our 2 dishes because some other things will take longer to cook than others. So we've done our sauce, we've got our timbalad in the oven, we're just giving our just basting our turnip, starting that cooking process in the butter, which is great. The next thing we're going to move on to is the sauce for our fish. It's basically built on a traditional gazpacho recipe. Like gazpacho is a cold soup. Sorry, I was going to do this earlier, but I thought I would keep it for Karen, because I know she watches. This is me just topping up my kosher salt, Karen. I know you're a big fan of the kosher salt, so just thought we'd keep that particular piece of food porn for you. Why don't we put some of our turnip over here? Absolutely fantastic. Right, back to our gazpacho. So gazpacho is basically a blended salad. It's a chilled Spanish soup. So our ingredients for our gazpacho, I shall bring over onto this tray without spilling everything. You getting a good shot of that? Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, we don't want to waste anything, is we're going to take our tomatoes from our Timberland. Now these are lovely fresh tomatoes from the fruit shop there in Uddingston. So big thanks to them. These are nice. They're not fully ripe yet, so there's a lovely tomato flavour to them. I know that sounds, but there's some good texture and there's lots of nice. And this is the actual tail for tomato water in them. So lots of good tomato. We're going to add another couple of those bad boys in. Now we're doing that, we're just keeping a wee eye on our turnip. Just working that through our butter. So we'll take that to a degree of doneness, and then we'll pop it in the oven. My wife's earning her gin today. She's been very good, she hasn't had any, she's been doing half a dry January. A half January. So in our tomatoes, again just for time, a little dot of garlic. Fresh garlic for this, unless you've got the time to cook it through, let it go cold, can be a bit harsh, so just use some of the squeezy garlic that's a bit rounder flavour. Red wine vinegar, lovely. Cucumber, which I've partially de-seeded. Now gazpacho or this mix that I'm making today, I'm sure there's purists out there that will be terribly upset with me. So just show you the turnip there in the meantime. A little bit of colour on it, starting to brown nicely. From that we're going to add a little splash of orange juice. And we'll pop that off into the oven. Apologies that the oven in the kitchen's not working today. Yeah, we had some issues. Thanks, Chef. So that's just some extra virgin olive oil. Lovely jubbly. Can't believe I'm saying lovely jubbly now. I really stop that. That's not a thing.
Thanks for my food conflict mention. Really no need. Still hate that salt too long.
So a nice little shallot here, it's got a top and tail on. Again, you can use red onion here. I wouldn't use white or yellow onion, can be a bit harsh. Flavour profile of shallots is a bit milder. So, quick question, how is the sound today? We do have a wireless mic, but we didn't use it today because we thought the main camera sound would be okay. Any thoughts, feedback?
Andy Williams said, thoroughly jealous of your kitchen, sir. It looks amazing.
I knew Mr. Williams a couple of lifetimes ago. Glad you're well, mate. Hope everything's alright. So we've got our liquid in here. We also need to stick in some of Granny's Ruin, this sherry. So that is in there. So our liquid part to this, sherry, some vinegar,
Karen said sound is good.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to blitz this and it's a horrible noise, so talk amongst yourself. Okay, and to that we have a slice of just plain white bread, any bread you've got lying about. All it's going to do is give it a bit of body, because we all like a bit of body. Nice. Sexy. Right. Fed up with that noise yet? No?
Yeah.
Good, because I've got more. We're going to take some coriander, which my wife is not a big fan of, for those of you with the high power microphone that just heard her go bloop. And a swath of fresh parsley. That goes in. And more of the lovely noise. Okay, I won't do that anymore. Thank you very much for your patience. I can sit over there till we're ready to plate. So, any questions, any comments before we go on to our next section?
No, none.
Is there anything that I've done so far that people feel overwhelmed with, as if they couldn't do it themselves?
Louise said, what's the big black thing to the side of the blender?
That's my little ceramic egg. So in this little pan, we're going to do a glaze for our duck breast. In fact, we're not going to do it in that pan, we're going to do it in this pan. That fooled you. Right, little glaze for our duck breast. Orange juice. And some honey that I had to defrost this morning on the ground. It's fucking cool! Okie dokie. So now that we're in the big bad lockdown, how's everybody doing? Everybody feeling pissed off, tired of it all, wanting to move on with life, not being given the opportunity to. In our glaze, I'm just going to put a little bit of, just a dash of cumin. Smashing. Okay. Could we look at getting the timber lad out? She's going to hate me because there's a packet of Parma in there I need as well. So I know we're back in lockdown and you can't leave the room or you can't open the window or talk to anybody or do anything, so hopefully with us being back on a Saturday it gives you a guy to laugh at in his garden, which will be amusing, entertaining, a waste of an hour of your life. Yes, so hoodies, if you're interested in the Pandalorian hoodies and you're interested in the Pandalorian t-shirts, we will have them on the shop next week. I think the hoodies are about 30 quid and they're available up to 5XL. T-shirts are 15 quid. Slightly bigger print on the t-shirt because of the pocket. Couldn't get as big a print as we demoed, but on the t-shirts much bigger. T-shirts are 15 quid. Again, this is not me retiring to the south of France by flogging the t-shirts. Just keeps the channel going, pays for the ingredients, the internet, the things that keep me doing this for free. You know, if you like it, buy a t-shirt, buy a hoodie. If you don't like it, go and watch something else. Enjoy your life. What I would ask is, if you're watching this now, I know a lot of YouTubers and influencers will come on and subscribe, do this, do that, press a button, but I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm going to ask you to do, if you're watching this right now, on the corner of that screen there's a little button that goes like. Click that like button. That's all I'm asking you to do. If if you've enjoyed it. Not asking you to share it with your whole friends group. If you would, that would be fantastic. Not asking you to do that. Share this content, share this show, share this nonsense. One person that you think would enjoy watching this. That's all I'm asking you to do. The whole thing about, you know, keeping the content free and keeping it relevant and all that is, you know, I'm very aware that I'm not going to retire on my YouTube career. Right, I enjoy doing this, I do this for fun, but it helps if I get help from Facebook, I get help from YouTube, if all those stats and analytics all add up. So we help here, we like there. Whenever you see any adverts for the show, share it again, share it with one person, and then hopefully we can grow it and make it all lovely and whatever. I've talked enough because I have a shitload of stuff to do. Right. What am I going to do now? Yeah, let's cook some. And again, a lot of the ingredients you're seeing me pulling here, this is not fancy chef stuff. This is Tesco. It's Aldi. I'm going to do a... No, it is actually Tesco. It is Tesco and it is Aldi. I have honed down on the shops that I use. So this is just Parma ham. Here's Black Forest ham. Any sort of dried hammy arrangement in a nice hot pan. What we're basically going to do is dry this out to become this crisp. Famous last words. So while that pan's heating up, I'll explain some of the other garnishes that I've got. And by garnish, that's a chefy word, meaning stuff I'm going to put on the plate. So this is slow roasted vine tomatoes. You can go to the veg aisle and you can get a packet of piccolo tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. Stick them in a tray with lots of olive oil, salt, pepper, stick them in the oven at 120 degrees, 130 degrees and let them roast for an hour or so. And they'll look like this. Put them in a jar, put them in the fridge. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than capable of doing that, but obviously we don't have an hour and a half to wait for tomatoes roasting. So we've got lots of roasted tomato, and this is bruschetta mix. Get that in Tesco. It's like 70 pence for a jar, and it's just, they've taken a load of nice vegetables and garlic and herbs, roasted it down and mashed it. That's what it is. You can do that at home. That's not a problem, it'll save you a few quid. I think it's about £1 a jar. But we're going to use this when we come to our plating. I know Carl Williams is probably sitting at home with his Kleenex in hand, waiting for the plating. So I'm just going to do a bit of a cock tease for a bit longer, Carl, I'm sorry. Last little bit of oil in there.
Linda Petrie said, what you cooking, Pete?
Oh. Be on time, Linda. So what we're doing today, Linda, is we're doing sea bass with texture of tomato, and then we are doing a duck dish with raspberry and pork. And I just made prosecco come down my wife's nose. Yes. So a little bit of prosciutto's pan frying away there. Quite happy to its wee self. I'm just going to flip that over. So basically all I'm doing here is drying it out. I want it to be almost like nice crispy bacon because I'm going to use it as a shard. Any comments, anything else going?
Linda said, sounds yummy.
Oh, it is, Linda, it is. Okay. So next thing we're going to move on to, once our Parma ham's done, is our duck breast. So all the duck breast, again you get these Aldi's or Tesco, they're not expensive. You can also get them at Donald the Butcher's. We'll take my bacon off here before it goes too mental.
He shows that under the camera.
So we've got some nice little crisp marks on there. A bit of kitchen roll just to dry out the fat. So we're starting to build our garnishes on the edge of our table. I'm just going to leave that sizzling away. So on our duck, what we want to do is render a lot of the fat out of the skin. So nice little cross hatches
What's it like?
on the duck. Again, you can do this dish with chicken. Not as good. Don't ruin my recipes by using chicken. But you can. Do a pork chop. So nice little scores on it there. A little bit of kosher salt, sponsored by Karen Cleland.
Linda said, is this kitchen in your garden?
Yes. Yes it is. Long story short. Right, so we're going to take our thing. We're going to use a pan and we're going to put it back on the heat. We're going to take it down. We don't want it to cook too quick. And we're going to put our duck breast in our pan. Cook it nice and slow to start with. We want to render the fat out of the duck breast. That's that, that's that. Nice little tidy. And I think we're ready to start plating our starter. Carol, you know what that means, buddy? Stretch out those triceps. Okie dokie, so for plating, I'm going to grab that palette knife. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll take our warm Timberland. So basically just roasting that in the oven. We wouldn't want to cook that. I want to keep some of the crispness of the vegetables. So what we're doing is putting some nice, can I get a couple teaspoons? Just wilting the vegetables a little bit, putting some flavour into them. So we're going to just take down our Timberland, take that, put it in the centre of our plate. I lost a couple of bits of courgette, but that's alright. We're then going to take our sun-blushed tomatoes, keep off centre, and we're just going to put 3 of these on our plate. Again, it's about finesse, a little bit of class, a little bit of yeah, that's French. You need to go to culinary school to learn that. We're then going to take our bruschetta mix. And again, just dabs of that. And again, everything's about textures of tomato. See the grill pan? Here we go. So while we're doing that, just put that on pause for a wee second to look in this pan. Now that was a completely dry pan. See the amount of oil we've actually rendered out of there. That's fantastic. So season the back side of that duck. Have a little check on the skin. That's fantastic. So we're going to go now back to, remember earlier on we made our gazpacho? So we're just going to give that a little mix. Check my seasoning. That's fantastic. Even though I greased it myself. real fond of that. We're now in a position to leave that. We're going to turn our duck breast over, see the lovely colour we've got on that. And we're going to put that into our oven. Where we nearly lose our fillet. Let's go. So, finally just waiting on that pan heating up for the sea bass. I'd like to talk to you about the lovely people at Westland Farms. Now, these are microherbs with some edible flowers as well. So we're going to use these in and around our dish. Shea leaves. Some little micro rocket. Okay, nice and hot. And this is some micro coriander. So we go back to. So big thanks to the guys at Westlands Farm. They kind of broke their back getting these here in time. So thank you very much. You find them westlandsfarm.com or type in edible flowers. It's usually the first couple of things you'll find. I've been doing well with this olive oil. Tiny little splodge. We'll go back to our crispy bacon. We just start to leave that little shards of that in between our garnishes. And last but not least, we're going to do our sea bass. Before we do that, I'm just going to take some pea shoots, which will go underneath our fish. So on our sea bass, none of this goes to waste. This is like chef's bites. I'm just going to trim it nice and square across the top. Take off that tail section, that little bit across the belly, and we cut that into two. We put it into a nice hot pan. So any questions, any feedback what we've done thus far?
Mike Connell said very chefy, that looks bloody lovely.
Thank you, Mr. Donald. A little edible pansy flowers as well. Right, I'm warning my wife. See, before you dig into this, we need to get photographs before we go no, 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 no. Okay. We've got salt on the plate. And we want our sea bass just cooked. Nice crispy skin. That's why we leave it to the very last bite. Now they're all cut up in portions sitting on a little bit of kitchen roll. It's the very last thing that goes in your plate. Because it's fresh. You want to dry it out. So while we're doing that, I'm just going to check my other. You can take the turnip out now, that would be great. Leave the duck in. Once we've got this plated up, we'll start on the second dish. Any questions or comments or feedback? Is that water kicking about? Oh, there it is there. So currently this guys is water.
John Ferguson says looking good like fella.
Hydrating, John, hydrating. So we can take our little Timberland mould off now. Put it to one side, probably that one. Light season on our salt and our fish. A bit of salt. A bit of pepper. What we're also going to do, well, we're just going to dress our plate. We're going to go into our sun-dried tomatoes and get some of this tomato oil. Take that off. And I'm literally going to turn this fish for about 5 seconds. And I want it nice. It's going to keep continuing to cook, so I don't want it to be absolutely ruined. If you watch the fish from the side, probably the only camera angle we don't have, you can actually see the white creeping up through the translucence. When those two lines meet, jobs are good. So there we go. Do you know what, as far as the plate goes, that's a prettier piece of fish. So put that one on the bottom. Offset that on the top. A little bit of our tomato oil. And for the overhead shot. Good shot.
Yep.
That is our seared sea bass with textures of tomato, and that's why I always be a chef, never be a waitress. Chefs build all these sexy towers. Yeah, got a motorised slider as well. How you liking that shit? Big long sweeping. Okay, so I'm just going to do the voiceover while we continue to do the sexies on this. So what I'm going to do now is finish off the preparation for our ducks. If you remember from earlier, we made our duck sauce. Previously on Pirate Kitchen, we made our duck sauce with our pork, pork reduction, some tomato passat, garlic, cinnamon, and what we're going to do now is finish off reducing our glaze, because we're going to use that little pan, and we're going to start building the rest of our garnishes. So we're going to do some nice little marinate, some onion rings. So just going to peel our shallot while you guys are looking at the lovely starter. So you're not really missing anything. I'm peeling a shallot. Probably been covered in previous episodes. I'm taking 3 nice thick slices off that shallot as equal as possible. we're back on the pip.
Yeah, we've been on the pit
Okay,
while you're
cool.
peeling the shallot.
So I've got my orange glaze beer, which is what I'm going to be using for the top of my duck breast. So put my little pan in there because I want to use it again. So a little pan goes in there. So what I'm going to do in that pan is I'm going to do a little bit of butter. Actually, my turnip has just arrived, which is full of buttery goodness. So butter in there. We're going to put our little shallot rings. So is there anything in that starter that frightens anybody? That they think, oh my god, I can't do that. Can you imagine coming in on a starter with either your wife or your husband or your partner that's prepared that for you as a wee starter? You know, you wouldn't need to go out for food.
Tommy Curlin says, is there a trick to peeling shallots? I always have an issue when peeling them.
Sharp knife, be careful.
Okay.
I get yourself one of these gravity peeler. Just lift yourself a little nick, then unzip it, and it should come out okay. That's pretty much what I do.
Mike Connell said perfectly achievable.
Good, thanks for the positive reinforcement, Mr. Connell. Okay, so we've got our shallotting. Our ducks, ducking. So with this we are going to do a small salad. Again, this is one of our garnishes. So we're going to take a couple of slices of Granny Smith apple because equal parts nom nom nom. I really couldn't have done that. Equal parts sweet and sharp. Still see what I'm doing. So I'm doing just squaring up our apple. That's the thing about fancy food. I don't get it. Andy Williams, he's a professional chef, you can tell me. Chefs have a habit of taking round things, making them square, and then taking square things and making them round. I think it's just to show you that we've done something, and that's why we can charge lots of money for it. Okay. So I want nice fine dice on that, so I'm cutting these into matchsticks. Yeah? Okay. Matchsticks are good, okay?
Good.
And again, the whole thing about this type of cooking is preparation. Have all your bits made up so that when you actually come to do the cooking part, it's easy. Mise en place, everything in its place. Lovely noise. And again, another nice fine dice on our green beans. Again, all these ingredients I'm showing you, but I bought enough to make 4 portions, and we'll make the other 3 when we go up here. So nothing's going to waste, and it all comes under that kind of fibre. We'll take some of our apple cider vinegar, tiny splash. Pepper. Kosher salt, Cam. We're going to go back into our little micro herbs.
Tommy Cleland said, can you recommend a quality knife set? Even after sharpening ours, they're still shite.
Well, what have I told you, Tommy? That in the next 2 or 3, the next month, you will be able to own your very own Pirate King knife. How you like those apples? The thing about knives are, knives come in a couple of categories. You like stainless steel knives, which will keep a medium edge for a long time, but they're a bugger to sharpen or to keep sharp. The high carbon steel knives, which sharpen really easily, have a fantastically sharp edge. That's kind of what I use, but they need constantly sharpened. So again, a little bit of this oil, lots of flavour in it. So it's in there with our vinegar, our apple, some of our micro herbs, a little bit of micro coriander, which is a much sweeter flavour. It doesn't have the same texture, but we just want that to wilt off. We've done our shallots. My wife's coughing, so I suppose I should pay attention to it, yes, darling? I was actually just about to say, can I get the duck through, please? So what we're going to do now, we have and this is just not a me thing. I hope Andrew will back me up on this. A lot of times, again, when you're plating up food, present it nicely. See, once you've cooked it, take it out, put on a little bit of kitchen paper. Blue J cloths. They're fantastic because what it does, it just, that little bit of liquid or that little bit of oil, which would ruin your plating. You just want to suck that out. So I'm going to take that. And yes, multi-use of pans. Use pans lots of the time. Look at my kitchen roll. I'm telling you, I went early on set. So we'll pull the duck out of the oven now. We're just going to let that relax. There's a little bugger there. So we're just going to let him relax on our paper with our shallots. Quick rinse. Back on, ready to rock and or roll. We're going to take our turnip, it's still quite warm. We're going to take it out of our pan. Now when you pull this out of the pan, you'll feel the orange juice is reduced into it and it's sticky. But you've still got that sharp texture. And all we're going to do is just give that a bit of a mash. It's not going to go mash like mashed potatoes, but it's just going to soften the edges a little bit. Okay, so we're starting to build our garnishes, to start building our plate for our main dish. So as you can see from this is our pork reduction sauce that we made earlier. How thick that's, it almost looks like chocolate. That's how sexy that shit is. On.
Mike Connor said, keep the pan on the right hand side. It's interesting to watch it happen in the pan.
I take on board what you're saying, but fuck you. The way this works I need a pan on both if I use that side. So I've been doing the majority of my prep on that side. It will come into the other 3 camera angles. And I feel like it. So we're just going to bring our sauce down a little bit. Tablespoon of orange juice. Keeping our flavours going. We're going to reintroduce our shallots. Yeah, but I get what you're saying, Mike. We didn't have an awful lot of time for. We had some technical issues with our YOLO box. So basically, just want to heat this through.
Practice.
We have some of our apricots which we're going to take out. And a few of our berries. Okay. Carol, get it ready, mate. So we've got a bit of a tidy down here, and then we will get into our main course. So that's plenty warm, that's just warming our little garnishes through. I'm just going to take a knob of butter, take the tin foil off it. The tin foil is not part of the presentation. Just going to melt that, put that off to one side. So all we're going to do is just swirl that around, and that'll. I don't want any adolescent tittering, really. What we're doing by adding the butter is we are mounting the sauce. Easy, Carol, easy. Don't stir it. Just nice rotational movements. That can stop beeping. That can all go over there. Okay, I'm ready to go. So we bring our plate forward. First thing we put on our plate is a nice little pile of our orange roasted beetroot. Turnip even? Where's that beetroot from? Right, first. It's been a long day. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to very carefully take our shallots, which should have their own little pool of sauce. We're going to take our salad, apple, beans, a little bit of coriander. Sauce the plate.
Louise said, how long do you keep the duck resting for?
5-10 minutes. Yeah, with plenty of heat in it. It's a little bit of lime zest. That just brings a lovely freshness to the plate. Have I missed any garnishes? I don't think so. Yeah, we'll do it over that. Okay, and the last thing to do is our duck. So we're going to take our duck, just make sure he's nice and dry. We're basically just going to square them up. Again, nothing goes to waste. Look at that duck. Perfectly cooked. And it is fancy, so you just trim up all your sides, eat them in the kitchen later. Take our square and we just roll it to our orange glaze. We sit at the top. Okay, a couple of little flowers. Some leaves just to bring a little bit of colour to the plate. Again, this is purely sex porn, food porn. You don't need to do the micro herbs. But that is our orange glazed duck breast, sitting on top of roasted turnip, seared shallots, apple and green bean salad, and a pork and cinnamon reduction. So something a little bit different for the new season of Pirate King Kitchen, the Pandalorian. How long's that been roughly?
Around 10.
Around 10 minutes. You can do a 2-course, and see for dessert, fast some ice cream in a bowl, get them a Viennetta, fuck it. Right, this is, sorry, just for camera. You can do this at home. We are all stuck in, we're all going mental. We've all eaten enough carry-outs, we've all eaten enough deliveries, we are, spend some time. You can do this for your family, for 2 people in an hour. Watch it back. If you want any information, just let me know. I'll talk to you. But you can cook nice restaurant quality food at home. There is nothing here. I haven't foamed anything. I haven't sous vide anything. I've used some pans. I've used stuff you can buy at the supermarket. This is not difficult. It's time, it's preparation, and it's a little bit of passion inside you. Go, do you know what? I'm going to do this. And this is the whole ethos. So mental health ethos behind Pirate King Kitchen. I am going to do this. We are going to do this. Make that for your loved one. Make it for your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, father, whoever is sharing your boo-boo. Right? They will be eternally grateful for it. Just don't do it and then start a YouTube channel, because then we'll have words. Okay. So we're just finishing off the sexies.
Promoting.
So we spoke about the hoodies, so we'll get them on the shop chat. If there's any interest, if there's not any interest, we won't do them. You know, I mean, it was a bit of a laugh. A lot of people kind of went, yes, this is the way. So yeah, so this is the way. Cook good food at home. It's not difficult. If you need help, we are here to help. When I say we, me and Nibbles are here to help. Mrs. Pandalorian, not so much. Qui-Gon drank all the gin. I think that her Star Wars name.
I'm just going to get another.
So before we go, quick roundup. Any feedback on the format, sound, video, any of that good stuff? Anything anybody would want to? We're not looking to blow smoke up our arse. Just tell us whether it was good or not. Is there anything we need to change? Is there anything we need to look at?
Andy Williams said phenomenal.
Thank you very much. Means a lot coming to you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams is a real chef. Well, I don't think he is anymore, but he used to be a real chef. We met a couple of lifetimes ago. I think he's in education now. This is technically education, but with swearing. I wasn't looking directly at you, I was kind of doing off, kind of... It was a bit, man, it was a bit. So that's kind of our show. Format, is an hour okay for everybody? A little bit later. Drop a comment down below what you did like, what you didn't like, what we can make better, all that good stuff. Share it with one person. If you've been sitting here watching it, click like. Because if you don't, it's rude. And failing that, we will see you all next week. If you want to learn something in particular next week, let me know. So we'll play the music, the new sexy titles.
You hear something?
Oh, I'm sorry, I've been told that I'm not following my own brand. Hit my new sexy music. Remember that there.